Hello guys, this is just my analysis slash VOD of my Omen play on Sunset, on the new updated patch of Sunset. Um, in this video, I'm probably gonna just talk about my gameplay, what I can improve, but I also will talk about my thoughts on the changes on Sunset itself, and kind of just like what I kind of think might be the best play to take and make sure no one else can just take sight from you easily on B. So early game, I decided to just go with the ghost. I get calmed by my team that there are some towards B site, so I smoke for the choke point, the main entrance. I kind of just peek out just to make sure no one's there. I get told that they're pushing on, so I start rotating. I see Jet kind of kill somebody a little that's lurking, so I kind of rotate back just to make sure no one is pushing towards A site. But because I see Omen is on B site, I start rotating towards back to B. I peek out, wall. I debate to smoke, but I just don't remember the map or know the map that well that I don't want to immediately smoke off. I shoot, get the pick. I slowly keep pushing. I don't know where anyone is. I kind of just start running. I don't fully clear that corner. I thought I did for a second, but that's on me. Um, but yeah, I think the map changes are a little bit attack sided. No, defense sided now. I definitely think with how B sided now is, it's more B sided. Um, but I do think B main can be a little bit more played around, and like you can now play around it a little bit better. Oh, by the way, because I'm playing off site or like playing by myself on site, I kind of back off and just try to see if I can get a spam kill. I get walled off. I debate to break this wall, but I'm like, this is so much bullets. But also, I don't know if someone's on top of the wall, so I want to make sure before I just jump in trying to knife it. But also, I didn't feel like knifing it because I wanted to jump peek, see if I could see anybody. I TP over the wall, see if I can get anyone off guard. But the Reina eyed, so I didn't have much time. This time I do opt out for a smoke, but I do think I can hold sight without having both smokes. But again, going back to the map changes, due to the map being different on B side, I do think it is a little bit, again, like I was saying, it's more defense sided because of so many more corners and like angles you kind of have to check. I feel like if you have a good flash, it's much easier to defend. I mean, push onto site with attackers. But I do think mid now is definitely also more defense sided, just solely because of that one corner being chopped up and making it more of an edge with a box instead of like a slant. I feel like if you smoke off mid, either side mid, it really does allow for you to have so much more like I guess leverage spot wise. I do hear some footsteps on my left, so I immediately peek. I do get the I do get the kill and the win of the round. But I feel like the best way to possibly counterplay B, due to it being more defender sided, is that Honestly, I feel like you can either play on site really well, but I think that you can also like it's just that you cannot really spam as well because there's not that big um block in your way. And plus because the site is a little bit different, where it's like it's not exactly the same planting area, it's a little different. So you can't really play off site as much, but I feel like playing on site it gives you a really big advantage on B. Solely because there is a lot more corners to play, a lot more space to play, and a lot more boxes to hide behind. But I feel like if you wanted to, you can definitely, as a B defender, if you want to push up, there is a way to push up, but it feels like you might have a one and done more than like you might only get a 1v1, and hopefully your team, if they are in that corner, they get traded. But if they're on your team, hopefully they get more than one. But it's a little bit like varied, I guess. But I think pushing B main is definitely more of a one and done. While B site, I feel like you can play a little bit more crossy. But I think due to how it's being played, I think Cypher should now be kind of tripping mid more, mid door, or do have to closing the door and then having the rest of their util on site. I think that is the best way to play him currently in my mind. Just solely because I feel like mid is actually a lot stronger than I think people might think. Because also if you look at B I feel like it's really hard to push just from pushing onto B, like just from B main. I feel like if you push through mid, it gives you such an advantage. I immediately, by the way, start hearing some noise over towards A. I kind of peek out because I hear Omen like ulting. I don't know where he TP'd, so I wanted to see if I can find him. I kind of hold my util because I'm like, they have a breach. They're probably gonna use some breach util. I try to peek off. I see the Reyna gets blind, but I just don't have the ability to shoot that in time. So I would just kind of wait for the next person to peek. So my Reyna is taking it slow, and unluckily gets one tapped in the head. So I buy a Spectre instead of a Phantom due to my teammates being able to only buy like they can't full buy right now. So because my team can't full buy right now, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try to get a random pick in mid because I don't know if they've been like I've seen them pick a little bit, but I hear a lot of YouTube getting or like just a lot of steps going towards B. So because they're walking towards B, I kind of immediately start rotating. I make sure I don't get hit by ult. I push into smoke, try to see if I can get a random pick. I immediately start breaking this wall because I'm like, I definitely should have did a different, but I kind of peek out of that. I see that where the jet smokes come from. I try to spam, get a kill, but someone pushed market. And I think my teammate did comment. I just did not notice in time. You can hear that one person jumping. I pull by again. This time I do not get another smoke. But if you do prefer having both smokes, I think that is perfectly valid. I think it's just like it just depends on how comfortable you are. Because I feel like with Brim and Omen, the main difference between them is that it's their util. I feel like Brim, because his smokes are very, you use it once and it's gone, it kind of makes it a lot more. You feel punished for using a smoke sometimes, so you're maybe a little bit more hesitant. But with Omen, you should try to be using smokes pretty often. If you hear that people are pushing, there's no reason not to. So I kind of do this just to see if where everyone is, and then because I didn't see anybody, I was like, you know what? It gives me a better position. So I'm like, I'm gonna peek from here, give myself the advantage. But if you do ever see anyone and they're not looking at you, maybe you can do that alt. But if you do have someone looking at you, either you let them shoot you or you wait till the last second to X. The reason I say that is so if they don't shoot you, you can definitely then maybe get some information, see, looking around, try to get anything, and then it's basically like you want to try to get rid of any time like waste of your ult if you can't. I looked into this corner, seeing if I can maybe get like a random pick. Because I hear just a bunch of people saying there's some mid, I try to smoke off mid, give maybe them an advantage. But I hear them pushing up into B main, seeing that Reyna eye on the minimap, seeing Omen pushing in with Spike. I was trying to make sure no one's pushing into B main while I'm trying to push them, so no one flanks me. But I started trying to like peeking a little bit where I'm like, I'm in a good position to just peek from. I peek, get the kill on Reyna. I honestly thought the stage was gonna immediately get my train onto the other stage, but you know what? It works out. I spammed enough where I got a couple of kills or I got a couple of assists, so I can't even complain. Again, I since I tried last time doing that B main play, I tried doing it again. I do think I definitely make a mistake here because I think the enemy team can see my smoke where it's coming from, and I think that's why they spam me here. But you will see what I am talking about. So I immediately TP. I then smoke it off, but you see how like that trail kind of follows it. I try to stay there, and I think I should have either TP'd sooner or just not smoked immediately. Because I was trying to smoke for my team, but I was like, you know what? If I get myself like in an interesting position, I think they might not think I'm there. That sniper gets a pick with that singer, go crazy, honestly. I respect that. I think that Gecko honestly does need to chill. But he also just doesn't use util with team. He seems to only think of using util when he's by himself. I don't know if it's because he's trying to trade, but this is something that the Cypher mentions as well. But he does really use util when it's with a team setting. It's very much like he's trying to use util by himself, but he is new to Gecko. So I definitely give him some cut him some slack for that. I see if Gecko tries to buy me, and I'm like ready to sell my sheriff, buy full shields if he does, but he doesn't. So I kind of just stick with the sheriff and move on. I immediately back up a bit, so I'm not in like an obvious corner that they can see me in, and then I go out and peek. I think I definitely could have hit a little bit better because if someone was tiles area, I think they would have definitely seen me. I started running because I see their majority of them should be kind of on site. I don't know if they can hear me, so I'm trying to see if I can get like maybe a flick of like not flick, a flank. So I'm kind of just looking around, seeing if I can get some kills. I let the Reyna pass because I hear them going up. I kind of wait for the perfect shot. I get the kill on Reyna. I have 3 bullets left. Make every one of them count. Luckily, I TP because I think it gives me at least a gun, and then I tap bomb, and then the Omen peeks me, and I luckily get both kills. In all honesty, right now I was looking for a Phantom, didn't see one, so I just have to stick with the Vandal. I think this does screw me because I mentally am usually used to a Phantom, but I'll make do. Arena is trying to calm to Gecko that he should buy for a Sage. He luckily does this time. I do also start hearing noise over at A, so I kind of actually hide instead of like peek out. I think this moment, I think if I had a Phantom, I genuinely think I could have won that fight. Or like not won that fight, but I at least could have gotten like one or two. Like one for sure. But because I did die there, it's like it's upon my rest of my team to get the rest. The Sage does res kind of very interestingly, but the Omen doesn't seem to notice. So high key, I did leave the Cypher alone just because I'm like I feel like when I play Cypher, sometimes I do when I'm trying to work, especially when there's 2 Sentinels, because I'm like I want to see what information they have, but I then decide to just push B with bomb, and then everyone kind of follows me. Luckily, now that I look at that, I feel like my crosshair placement wasn't amazing. It might have been decent, but I feel like my aim wasn't great. At least gets the kill on Sage, and then the Sage does get the kill onto Omen. So because of that, I think we calm to rotate B just because I mean rotate A because we don't know where Reyna is, but I think they should just play together. The Sage does not check any corners, which really does like freak me out. But we are assuming that they are B, but it's still like not checking any corners is to me crazy. That Cypher Cam was very lucky. He was not being seen by Reyna, but also he was able to get the cam hit like on him. I immediately started telling the stage to peek once I heard him running and getting much closer. Luckily, we won that round. Get an early buy start. By the way, I do mute some of my videos just because of language and sometimes I hear people cursing. Um, I don't really want to have that on my channel. So that's the reason why sometimes my gameplay is muted because I don't really edit. I can hear my gameplay, but it's just like I don't think it's like something I want to have people watching and having to hear. It's not necessary in my mind. But this angle, I'm kind of just peeking it just to see if anyone crosses immediately. The cipher does get a pick. I took a shot because I thought for a second someone they might have still been there, but I didn't really see one tap them. So because I'm pushing onto site, I'm kind of just checking every corner, making sure. I just do a regular smoke like usual. I'm debating where to smoke, but I know that the sage walled there, so I'm like, I don't think I need to smoke there. So I'm just kind of waiting for Reyna if they push, kind of if they blind, I'm like ready to look away or like hide behind box. And I feel like that was a very unusual round. We didn't full buy that round, not everyone. So we now have like three actual guns, and I think because of that, that actually really does give us a good head start in the round. But it was very risky in a sense that we could have definitely lost that fire round. But because they have zero like actual sentinel besides Sage, I really do feel that this site is really easy to push. I feel like Sentinel makes B a lot harder. I just spam that because I'm worried Omen's trying to do something I was trying to do earlier, but actually be successful on it. I kind of peek mid just because I don't know if anyone's pushed up yet. Kind of back up. And I want to give smokes to my Gecko since he's alone and pushing towards A. See that there's a wall here, so and you can see the wall's breaking, so we decide to wait and then we push up onto site. I'm kind of watching. I see Gecko looked at my side. I peek for him, and then I smoke off both main choke points. I look up there just in case Omen or chance up there. I think my crosshair was definitely not that great. I kind of just spam a little bit, see if I can get some damage off or get a kill maybe. I have 30 bullets though, so I'm kind of just TP it up here. I think this is a very good off angle. Not a lot of people expect all the time, but it's something that people can expect. So I waited for that breach to maybe flash that I tried to flash too, and I dropped in this moment, and it kind of just went in. I somehow got more than I definitely expected I was going to. I did whiff on that sage. He does have Molly, but I think we still won the round. It's just that I'm like, I think he could have definitely won that fight as well, but it's okay. I honestly am very surprised that I won those two fights and gained Breach and Omen there. I'm not gonna lie, but it worked out for me, and I'll take them. So because I feel like mid is honestly pretty strong, I'm like, if I see Cypher and Rain over there, I'm like, I might as well try to push through. But because I have Reyna watching for me, I'm like not worried that someone's gonna push me with Breach Stun. I do peek out, luckily get the kill on the Reyna. I try to re-smoke it. trying to then get a little bit of a peek out from here. I'm waiting for some noise cue. I didn't hear anything, but luckily I was still able to get the kill onto Sage. Because Breach and Omen worked towards that direction, I didn't know if they were trying to peek me or trying to peek them. So once I saw they were peeking Gecko and Cypher, I tried to run to them. But luckily it didn't. They Cypher didn't die. Even though we are winning more on attack, I think it's just that I don't think it's fully attacker sided. I think it's just that their lack of sentinel truly makes B so much harder. Kind of get my all like my thing ready, but because there's no cam, I don't want to just waste it if there's no one there. So instead, I kind of just decide to smoke once they get a little bit closer. I try to see if I can see Omen TP because I didn't, and I'm like, I'm already in mid. Try to see get a pick. I got a pick, and then I just start running back. I'm like, I was gonna go much further than that, but I was like, you know what? I'll take it. I hear op. I kind of just blind to slow them down. Hopefully, I thought Sage was still with me in that moment, and I guess Omen TP across my line, my or like the tripwire, but luckily it worked out. So I'm seeing with Cypher with bomb. I'm like, well, I guess I gotta have to either have some situation where I'm pushing onto A. So I start rotating towards bomb with Gecko and Cypher. I provide that mid smoke again for anyone pushing out through mid. See Gecko not really moving, so I'm like, you know what, it's okay. I'll try to help mid then first before working on anything else. I see doors closed. I'm trying to make sure everything is cleared over here. It is a little late that I wasn't able to help that cipher there. It's unlucky. They Reyna then calls for a push through mid. I ult B, seeing if I can get any like weird angle. Sage is looking directly at me. I immediately cancel my ult. Sage walls off that angle. So now we only have a couple angles to look for. I kind of cross without having to worry about it. Anyone's there. I'm just watching to make sure no one's pushing out. Flank. I see that the last one is there. I try to flash for him. He gets a kill onto Cypher, unluckily. I try to smoke it off. I'm trying to make some plays, make sure Breach doesn't know where I am. But luckily, our Gecko got the kill. Since the Gecko wasn't buying, I decided to buy Sage. So this round is I live so hard. I kind of peek out and I see the corner and I see this jet and it freaks me out. But luckily, people were able to turn fast enough. But I just was like, what the heck just happened? Why was that jet there? I just kind of peeked it just as like I like kind of like a courtesy in a sense. Like I just kind of was like, yo, I'll peek it just to peek it. Since we both knew Reyna and Sage are towards B, we started rotating A and we're trying to see if we can get a kill with Cypher. Luckily, Cypher did get a pick off And then he knew where Sage kind of was, so he kind of tried to peek. Luckily, he did not die to the Sage, but he was definitely struggling a little bit. Luckily for him, he knew that Sage and Raynor were there, but we didn't know where Omen was. I think definitely should have gone to our teammates to push probably A site, but they get lucky enough where they get a couple picks in mid, which kind of do benefit them. So because of those couple picks and there, you see Breach running A, we kind of rotate towards B, which I do think that is a very interesting wall because hypothetically, I think you can definitely jump over that wall. Because of this ult though, it's just unlucky, but he does get the breach, and then the Omen does a weird TP. Personally, I think that TP could work, but I think it's not. I think it's a little bit too risky, in all honesty. I think without having any knowledge, especially with how many corners I feel like now that there are on B, it's a little bit harder to like really say like that's an okay plan or like okay TP. Because if you see Omen TP on the minimap, when he TPs, you can kind of have a radius of where how much sound he has. It's probably like half the circle size, but it's still like a decent amount. Again, I kind of spam brick wall. Since no one died, I was like, I'm gonna not check that corner, but I'll check this corner. I'm like seeing if anyone's in there, making sure like there's no one like kind of lurking around. Trying to just keep spamming. Because he ulted, I expected that we might have pushed on, but no one really kind of followed after. And because Gecko does die right there, Cypher picks up bomb, runs back, and we just rotate because Arena has taken over mid. So because they have mid, we start rotating towards A. I do make sure that A is clear, kind of like I by checking what I check, and making sure no one's there, kind of checking corners again, then smoking off before checking again, and then I try to make a play of like I need to maybe get a pick because it's 3v4. So I'm like I'm trying to wait, see if I can get like a random pick, and I hear someone there. I was able to get a shot off, run off. I'm not trying to see if I can. I'm trying to keep it 3v3. Cypher luckily gets another pick. I hear the TP. I'm like, is that right above me? It is. I get the Omen, and I have 2 bullets. And because I only have 2 bullets, I see him and I use my 2 bullets. So I have my classic out. He hears me, so I try to change my gun mid fight, but I think I definitely, yeah, like Cypher said, I think I could have used my flash in that moment. Definitely think it's like very retrospective, but I think in the moment I was way too much in the mindset of, like I just want to circle them. Like I don't want them to see where I am. I just want to make I don't want to waste as much time as possible. So again, I do a light buy where I just have enough money to buy for next round. But I feel like what makes this for us on Sunset a lot easier as of recently is just like no Sentinel, and they're giving up mid very easily. I feel like mid is just something that they're just giving for free. I'm waiting to see if the Sage picks me again, and I just spam a little bit through the box, see if I can get a pick. Trying to see what gun he had. I'm just like, you know what? I'll take a Stinger. Anything close range, I can use that, and then my sheriff, I can use long range. I kind of am looking around for a pick, and I see the Sage Wall. Sage Wall should definitely be going down eventually. But I'm basically making sure I can push. But then, unluckily, Sage was waiting. I don't think I made any noise, but it just happened. I honestly thought the Gecko was gonna get spammed, but the Sage did wall for him. He is on the wall waiting, but I did ping to him. There is a gun there, and Gecko grabs gun. Then he moves on. They play A Strike together, Gecko and Cypher, while Sage is playing Lurk mid. Gecko tries to make a hero play, unluckily fails. Sage is double checking here, but I think definitely just needed to push out in that moment because I think he could have definitely got like a pick or two and lost sooner. But we come to him that's flanking, and there's another one flanking him. But Sage, I think, either doesn't have headphones on or just like is way like is not like cannot hear for some reason. But me and my teammate Reno were calling to him that there was somebody flanked, but I guess they just were not realizing it. So I see my team is like kind of there. So I'm like, hey team, push. I'm gonna flash for you, and they push right after my flash. They do die, but I do think it is worth. I pick up bomb. I plant safely. Because I did see Arena die from somewhere. I was not sure where from. I do provide that smoke, so they have to push through to us instead of us having to push them. Reyna is flanked. Sage does have to take that 1v1. He wins. I reload. We hear breaches behind that wall, so I kind of just jiggle peek it, see if he's trying to do anything weird with it. And because I hear him running, he is now actually at stairs. I kind of peek him, Gecko peeks him, and I re-peek him, get the kill. I think I definitely could have peeked the breach sooner, but I think I had like a subtle doubt that he might still be looking at me. But I was just decided to re-peek. It worked out. Did the best. I feel like playing crosses with a teammate is always very advantageous for you and your team, especially when it's a 1v X or like whenever it's like you have more people. It's playing a crossfire is always very beneficial. And when I say crossfire, I mean basically you two are looking at each other at a choke point. So like if someone is gonna push through somewhere, they can possibly you can kind of watch your corners for each other. I don't know if that described it well. I just double checked no one was there. I jump peeking them, but luckily no one was there. I kind of since the Sith flashed out, I started trying to smoke off for the team so he can push out. And he was getting blocked by a wall. So I kind of just started spamming to see if I can get a little bit of damage off on anybody or break the wall. I kind of wait. I get concussed. We all get concussed, unluckily. So I start trying to then push out the site with the team. Because I do have bomb, I kind of just make sure no one's in that cage. I TP safe. That wall kind of stopped me from planting. Replant, TP, get off site because I just don't know where everyone is because of that. What's it called? The blind. So I use my ult to see if I can get into a good corner. I get shot. I get confused, so I cancel my ult. But I didn't see anybody, and I don't know if anyone was actually there. Luckily for my teammate, I do blind. I do hit him. I do die, but luckily for him, he is able to luckily dodge with that dismiss. He peeks slowly, gets the kill, and it's GG's. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you learned a little bit about Omen. Hopefully this helped you learn about Valorant in and of itself, but also thank you so much for watching.